Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have finally crossed the Rubicon of insanity in the gaming industry. For some reason, this has been the week of no return. Every single day, there is a brand new headline coming out that is objectively worse than the one before. If it isn't about layoffs being rumored, if it isn't about the gaming industry collapsing and crashing under its own weight, or the fact that GTA 6 is not going to have a disc in the box. In the business, we call this foreshadowing. But you see, things got effectively worse, especially after what happened yesterday. And at the center of it all is PlayStation. Now look, I know, Alex, you're just a PlayStation hater. You just don't like PlayStation. No, that's not the case at all. I don't like any company. Hell, I even criticize Valve from time to time when they screw things up. But the difference is PlayStation has been one of the de facto most anti-consumer companies this entire generation. And no matter how many times people try to parade the word exclusives in front of me, that's not going to wash away all the garbage this company has been doing for the past 6 years. From raising the prices of their systems, going on raising the prices of their actual networks, to going through and adding an entire online login for PC gamers as well, then pulling out of the PC gaming space on top of it. Literally going around and telling all of their actual users, we're going to monetize you even harder instead of taking a loss because of the RAM crisis. And boy, are they gonna monetize you every single time. Because PlayStation even added variable rate pricing into their own storefronts, and it was proven true by SpawnWave as well. Not sign into the store, you're gonna get a cheaper price. You sign in, they track everything that you're doing, all of your spending, and then jack up the price when you go to buy that game instead. Isn't that fun and interesting about how things are gonna go? By the way, that's also foreshadowing as well. And then also, let's not forget the insane 14-day DRM license policy that you have on that platform, where you have to go on and check in into PSN to make sure a game that you bought from their own storefront is actually you, and then they can finally apply to your own account. And let's also not forget this insane double down, dare I even say triple down, on live service titles, especially for this brand. Clearly, PlayStation is not in a good spot. I don't care how much money they make, I don't care how many PS5s they sell, and I clearly don't care how much profit that company is making hand over fist every single quarter. What I do care about is how this company treats its consumers, and especially what they're doing right now. Because even after all of that that's happened recently, it turns out PlayStation decided to take the one move everybody celebrated them for 10 years ago. Because according to PlayStation on Twitter posting this, important updates, news on physical discs for new games, and news on the PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita. First of all, before we even get started on what PlayStation actually said, look at the view count of this tweet at the time of recording. 53 million views on this damn thing. And to make things even worse, look at the like ratio, for whatever reason, I don't know who would like this tweet, to in fact responses. It's actually tied at this moment. In fact, it probably is going to go into an entire ratio pretty soon when this video in fact even comes out. And I'm gonna be real, I am entirely sick of seeing every single company say, oh, here's an update about our pricing. Here's an update about this. Here's an update about that. You know what the update means? It's bad news every single time. How about the update being, oh, we're gonna lower the price of our games because we need to sell more copies? How about the update finally being, oh, we're gonna lower the price of our consoles because people wanna buy them more? We don't get those updates at all anymore. What we get now is bad news after bad news. And when you hear the bad news about the physical games, well, PlayStation's got a lot to answer for and a lot to say. So let's see what happened. Because according to PlayStation's own blog yesterday saying this, physical disc production is ending in January of 2028 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to our consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to your delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we in Clown World today? This is what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and remove all the physical games in 2028 for PlayStation. Dare I say, right in time for the PlayStation 6 launch, which would be hilarious, by the way. No, there's no physical disc for this console. Why would we have one? We already discontinued physical media in this year. Surprise! It's exactly what you've always wanted. A purely digital console. Never go to a storefront again. Midnight releases? What's that about? Making friends, playing games? You don't gotta do that. Just go ahead, buy our online service. Give us your ID, by the way, because we're gonna need that too if you want to use any services online. And also be part of the DRM and always be online and check in with us to make sure it's you buying the game from our own storefront, because if you don't do that, we'll revoke that license too. So just a quick heads up if you haven't caught on that picture yet. This is exactly what PlayStation wants. What they want is total control. They want to control everything from the beginning of the game being made all the way to you buying the game and installing it onto your hardware. I'm sorry, their hardware that they're literally renting to you, because that's what it is. It's a one-time purchase of $900 for a PS5 Pro that they're lending to you because they can brick that bitch at any time they want. That's why they want you to be online. That's why they want you to buy from their storefront. And let's talk about their storefront too, by the way, where things get even crazier if you ask me. You see, because according to Christopher Dring, PlayStation is currently facing multiple class action lawsuits over an accusation that the PlayStation Store is a monopoly. Hold on, wait a minute. A storefront being a monopoly? Boy, I wonder where I've heard that one before multiple times. But the thing is, it's actually probably kind of true. When you look at what PlayStation does, they don't allow their game keys or any sort of game code to be sold across any other digital storefront. You can only buy PlayStation Online games on PlayStation's own store. Now, if you go to CD keys, you will see PlayStation games. The difference, though, is that those games are only the ones being sold as a bundle pack-in with the console. You'll never find any other individual game being sold on any other CD key website or Green Man Gaming or etc. if it wasn't bundled in together with a system for that key. And that's the real kicker about all of this. Clearly, this is all market manipulation by PlayStation's own hand. Why sell a game for a cheaper price physically when you can go ahead and keep the price high digitally? And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Literally min-maxing your wallet on every conceivable aspect, whether it's ownership, whether it's pricing, or whether it's even buying the game and how you do it. Congrats, Sony, you played yourselves. But actually, it gets worse. And no, I'm not kidding. Because also on the PlayStation blog, they said this: after nearly 2 decades of supporting the PS3 console generation, we wanted to let you know we will be closing the PlayStation Store on PS3 as well as on PS Vita. The PlayStation Store on PS3 will close in select markets starting this year, followed by global closures for PS3 and PS Vita next year. That means new content purchases will no longer be possible once the store closes on these devices. To ease the transition, players will still be able to download the previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. So hold on, stop, listen, and think about it from this perspective. Put everything that we've seen together and see what exactly PlayStation is in fact doing. They are trimming everything they possibly can and going around and trying to squeeze out every penny from your back pocket. Oh, only a small percentage of people play on PS3? Well, shut that shit down. Nobody plays it anymore. They don't have access to anything at all. They should be able to buy games there anyways. Make them buy a $700 console. Hell, a $1,000 console is what we want them to buy. Then make them pay for the online, be part of the DRM, and then pay all of our variable rate pricing so that way they pay us more money on rebuying all those games all over again on a PS5, hell, or even a PS6. But the thing is, it gets even more insidious than just that, because Sony has been under hot fire, not like Dylon, by the way, because of going around and removing 500 movies from their entire digital catalog of its users who paid for those movies. Is it starting to click yet? Are you starting to put things together? PlayStation is closing down its storefronts on its older consoles. They're restricting what you buy and what you can buy and where you can buy it. And then they're going to go ahead and remove those titles and those licenses and everything else that you purchased from your hard-earned money that they now have from your own digital library. This is about complete and total control from front to back, soup to nuts. And that's really the insane part about all of this. The fact that PlayStation was one of the few companies back in the past in the PS4 generation that did the unthinkable, did the exact opposite of what Microsoft wanted to do and said, you know what? This is how you share your game. And they did the whole little spiel and they got all the applause and all the cheering and everybody loved Sony, baby. All evil Microsoft the whole time. And what do we see now? Them doing the exact playbook of what Xbox did during the Xbox One generation, removing actual physical ownership from people, removing and restricting what you can buy and where you can buy it, and going around and saying, you know what, if you want to go ahead and buy a video game from us, it's got to be on our platform with our money that you're giving to us and nobody else. This is why they moved away from PC and from Steam, not because they were scared about people not buying PS5 consoles, but because they were losing a percentage to Valve every time a simple game was sold. Here's Domino's Pizza UK quote tweeting PlayStation saying this makes about as much sense as us changing to digital pizzas. Here's Ethan Gatch on Twitter also saying this. Jack Tretton on stage at E3 2013 talking about how the PS4 will support physical discs that give players full control over their games and what they want to do with them. He's interrupted multiple times by loud cheering as he dunked on the Xbox One's DRM play point by point. During that entire time in 2013, that moment is exactly why PlayStation won that entire generation. Xbox was riding high. They were going around and saying, you know what, we're going to now restrict everybody to being always online. We're going to restrict where they can buy their games and no longer allow them to trade in games or sell them. And people weren't having it. Yet PlayStation came out and said, you know what, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to backtrack on the same plan that we had and do things differently. And what do they do instead? They 360 themselves and moonwalked all the way back to that exact same moment, yet doing the opposite, thinking, man, Xbox might have been cooking here if you ask me. And it's entirely pathetic in every sense of the word. And I know somebody's going to say in the comments section, but Alex, you're a PC gamer. Why? You're all digital right now. Why do you even care? I care because on the actual console platform, you don't have what PC gamers have. You don't have choice of storefront. You don't have choice of DRM. And you certainly don't have the ability to pirate your games as easy as PC gamers do. You see, on the PC platform, being all digital is accepted because we have things like Valve and Steam. We have things like GOG and Good Old Games where we don't have to worry about DRM. And we can tell companies and corporations that don't want to play ball with us that they can shove it. And we go exactly where we want to actually spend our money and where it's valued for us. It's why we rose a stink about the PSN login issues and PlayStation bent the knee. It's why we raise a stink every time something happens on the PC gaming space and don't accept the slop from these corporations. So yeah, I'm gonna be mad that you as a consumer are getting 6 ways from Sunday because a company corporation thinks you're the one they're going to squeeze all their money out of. And no, just because I play on PC, it doesn't mean I shouldn't have an opinion or defend you from having the ability to own your own video games. That's why. What a stupid argument that I've been hearing that entire time. You play on PC, you're not digital. Yeah, and I know what the actual issue is. And right now, you guys have zero refund policy on PlayStation. The second you download that game, you're stuck like Chuck, baby. And there's nothing else about that in this sense. If PlayStation actually wanted to do this the right way, they should have removed that DRM. They should have removed variable rate pricing. They should have changed their actual refund policy to give you something more available and apparent. Instead, they're putting you over a barrel every single time, and the fact that people even accept it is pathetic. With Low-Key Matt on Twitter even saying this, call me crazy, but I believe Sony ending physical games is all part of an industry-wide plan to move all computing into the cloud and hoard all production capacity to AI chips. With GOG on Twitter also saying this, even if a game vanishes from the GOG storefront, it never leaves your library, exactly as digital ownership ought to be. And Stop Killing Games also tweeted this. This is a grim moment for the gaming industry. Sony PlayStation announced today that it will cease all physical game production in 2028. This will essentially erase legal game preservation and ownership on their platform. The ESA lied to lawmakers to bring down the POG Act. This whole thing is absolutely out of control. What PlayStation is trying to do is control how much money they're bringing in. And the best way to do that is to remove the physical discounts that everybody seems to be getting whenever a new game comes out or a game isn't selling. Really put that into perspective, mind you. If a game is physically on the shelf and it's not moving, what happens? The retailer lowers the price to get that disc out of the storefront and get it sold to put in the new game they can sell on top of that for a higher price. Online, digitally on PSN, on their own storefront for PlayStation, what do? There's no shelf space. There's no storefront. All they got to worry about is, do we keep the price high? And when do we in fact provide a discount? And that's when they enact variable rate pricing. They manipulate you. They coerce you. They trick you into every conceivable facet that they possibly can to squeeze out that extra couple of dollars they're so desperately trying to grab onto. And you know what? I gotta give credit where even credit is due. Even PlayStation fanboys aren't putting up with this. And that's something I never expected. Here's MBG on Twitter saying this: don't let @Sony get away with this. Hashtag not buying PlayStation 6. And here's Dustin Furman also saying this: yeah, this totally sucks. They will eventually try to blame this decision on the handheld, but the reality is they want you spending more money on games with less consumer choice. Don't take my word for it. Look at the prices of physical versus digital on PSN for older titles. And that's what I'm talking about. Even when PlayStation fans and people who run PlayStation podcasts are saying this is bullshit, it's time to stop and actually listen about what's in fact happening to this industry. And I know exactly what's going to be happening. Xbox will do the exact same thing like we all know they're going to do. And we're going to be sitting in a purely digital hellscape where nobody knows exactly what to do except a company like Valve, who actually has the right refund policy, who has the right way of selling you games, and doesn't try to put you over a barrel every single time when they sell you a video game on their storefront. No variable rate pricing, no insane DRM unless the publisher puts it on there like Denuvo, and it's easy to go through and find other ways of ownership besides buying games on Steam. You've got GOG, you've got the Epic Game Store, I guess, and you're also able to sail the high 7 seas. If I were you and you were sitting there thinking about buying a PlayStation 6, maybe now would be the right time to get yourself a PC instead, because at least there you'll have proper digital ownership of your video games, have a better refund policy, be aware and being told of what DRM is in fact on the game that you're buying so you can make that proper decision as an actual consumer. PlayStation wants none of that to happen at all. And I'll be honest, Xbox could do the funniest thing right now if they actually wanted to. Literally recreate that exact same commercial with Asha Sharma and Matt Booty. And that would literally be the pinnacle of what's been happening. Because apparently what Xbox is working on is something called Project Positron, where you can in fact take your physical games and turn them into digital licenses that you can own. Now, we don't know if that's actually going to be coming out or if that's going to be a big thing, but if Xbox and Microsoft can pull that off, that would be a huge victory overall in the digital space coming forward. And that's where things are going to really get into play. Not about exclusivity, but about actual value of the brand and storefront and box that you're buying. But clearly we are now in a space where PlayStation feels they are the top dog, where they can get away with everything. This happened during the PS2 to PS3 transition, and we saw what happened in that generation when that whole thing fell apart when they wanted to charge $600 for a system. And we're seeing it happen right now again, watching as the PS5 is ushering in a new space of no ownership, higher prices, DRM onto your games, adding your ID to the actual system to use those games as well and those services, and squeezing out every penny from your back pocket like an actual clown, in fact, would. And you know what's funny? For the past few years, people have called me a PlayStation hater because I made fun of fanboys and I criticized their favorite company. Well, today it looks like the chickens have finally come home to roost. This gaming industry is headed for another crash, and it's going to be a diabolical one. And when it does happen, buckle up, because things are going to go from bad to even worse. But as always, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Are you angry at what PlayStation is doing? Do you not care and you still went all digital? Or are you going to say, you know what? Fuck them. I'm going to make myself a PC and buy my games there and emulate and actually own my digital goods. I want to hear what you've got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Frank the Wolf saying this, the EULA, End User License Agreement. No, that's not what that means. The EULA means every user loses access. That's what that means. And you know what, Frank? We're going to keep seeing that entire aspect happen across the board, where every user keeps losing access to the games they bought, to the games that they've purchased, to the games that they love. And it's going to be getting worse over time, every time, until things collapse. But you know what? If you guys want to see more of this kind of content, though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't even sweat it, bro. Just come on down to the live streams Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on this channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. It's actually insane. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on this channel. It's a show, baby. Basically just Sábado Gigante for video games. My Latinos know what I'm talking about. But hey, I'm not done. Do you want even more of me though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. New videos go up every single Monday, usually not about this kind of stuff, but more just gaming related, about reviews and things like that. And I also stream games there every single day, usually around 10:30 a.m. to around 2 p.m. We're playing Titanfall 2 right now, and then moving on to other games as well that you guys get to choose, where I get to rage at. And it's actually a lot of fun because I also allow a lot of backseating as well. So trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Every single day on that stream on Oh No It's Alex Gaming, and every single Monday with a brand new upload. Check it out. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. I'll help you get through your workday. Link to that channel is also in the description down below. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!